Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkus, and this is Krypton Season 2, Episode 3, Will to Power. How's everyone doing tonight out there? Yeah, it was not a bad episode. We actually had some action, we had some comedy. Uh why is it that every time I look at Brainiac I want some pistachios? Joe, I don't know. I kind of was having a craving for pistachio ice cream myself. So maybe that's the reason why. That's what he kind of looked like a little bit, was lumpy pistachio ice cream. So before we start off here, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video, excuse me. And you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch. So I'm also going to get some business stuff out of the way first, because normally I do it at the end of the video. I'm going to do it at the very beginning of the video. This time it seems to be working a little bit better. But if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're still going to be on the fence about things, you're going to see a video at the very end here that pops up here. It is basically taken from the algorithm of everything you've watched. It'll pick one video out of my video library and play it just for you. Up here, you're going to see Legion is going to be up this way. This was a beautiful, beautiful first episode of Legion on its final season. So, hey, Joe. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can go to suspendedfanimation.com and you'll see my schedule up there. I change it every week and update it as well. And you'll see everything that I'm covering for the week and also on as well. So, with that said, and that stuff out of the way. Oh, and by the way, if you hit the dislike button, you can hit the dislike button. I don't mind. Just go down in the comment section and tell me what it is you don't like about the show and all that kind of stuff. Give me some constructive criticism other than you stink, you suck, whatever. Yeah, do a little constructive criticism. Or I don't agree with you. That's fine as well. You know, some people don't agree with the way I do things or the way I look at things. So, Dennis is still in blue. Why is it always blue? I don't know, Pen. It's always blue. It's always blue. So I've got a little bit of red too here, so you can see. This is yeah, I got my cape on here. This is actually from the Supergirl premiere at Comic-Con. It was kind of funny. There was a big big bike thing that you had to pedal, do a group pedaling thing. It was all in a big square, but it was a weird thing, and you're pedaling through the streets of San Diego, and they give you a shirt at the end. So thank you. Yeah, it's actually it's a kind of one of those cool shirts I like wearing during Comic-Con. And yes, it has the cape attached. It's kind of a bitch to wash. That's the only thing. But you're not here for that. You're here for Krypton, Episode 3, Will to Power. Meanwhile, back on Kalu, sorry. Yeah, so we go back to Kalu, of course, and Sig is running from Lobo with Adam, of course, and he's becoming more and more Brainiac. His eyes are black at this point, and he stops at one point, and Adam's like, "Hey, you know what? Can we take a breather? I can't run as fast as you can, and I need to, take a breath for a minute there." And we see that Seg is actually starting to talk a little bit more like Brainiac as well. The Craptown boys, exactly. And all of a sudden he freezes and his eyes black over completely. And Adam's like, "Oh man, what the fuck? What's going on now?" And he basically had told him that he didn't want to kill him, that he wasn't going to kill Seg. There was no way that he was going to do it. There's got to be some other way. And Seg freezes, goes into his mind, and he confronts Brainiac out on his mind field, is what this is, and or the mental plane, as we would say in Legion. And Brainiac is telling him that he needs him to survive. Essentially, he needs the organic components. And Seg's like, "Yeah, you just need me for parts. Essentially, that's why you need me." And Brainiac tells him that just give me your body, and you can live for eternity. You can live forever, and you can have anything you want. What is it you most desire? And he starts kind of flashing into different people as well. And just before Seg comes out of it, he has all these flashes of how Brainiac came to be, essentially, and sees a cave and a chair and all of this stuff. I'm tired of the cheap shots in the show when Seg and Adam are there. Yeah, when they're doing their little one-liners, Joshua. I'm okay with it because it's going to end soon. The one-liners they are, and he comes back and tells Adam that he has access to Brainiac's mind just as much as Brainiac has access to his. Duh, we've seen this before in the comics, and he knows how to defeat Brainiac. Dun dun dun. Meanwhile, back on Wexlor, we have Val and Jax are going over the spoils of their very successful raid that they captured some Sagittari, and also their weapons as well, and breathers too that are a lot better than their breathers. They have more oxygen, and but as he passes them out, he tells people just keep mind of your oxygen. You don't want to go low on it because they're better than ours at this point. So Jax brings Val off to the side, and she's like, she wants to kill the Sagittari at first, question a few of them, and Val's like, you know what? These people were just kind of pushed into this role. They never were Sagittari to begin with. Take it easy on them, question them, and calm down a little bit. And then he starts pumping up Nyssa about her, that this wouldn't have been possible without Nyssa's knowledge and all this kind of stuff. And you see Nyssa over there looking like really kind of nervous about shit in the background. She looked like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs there. She really was kind of pissed off about it. Sorry, commenting on the phone sucks when Brainiac and Seg are talking at one point. It looks like they're standing in front of a green screen. That's because they are. But Joshua, it's NBC. NBC is the one that runs SyFy. They don't put that much money into this thing. They really don't. And it shows at some points. Season 1, you'll see the same hallway reused time and time again. They kind of move things around a little bit to make it look like a different hallway. It's the same fucking cheap plywood hallway that they've been using for like 15 episodes. So yeah, it's what they do. They actually got a little bit more money, you could tell, because now they're going off world and stuff like that. So yes, it is a little bit different. Usually the later effects with Lobo weren't horrible. Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that in a minute here. So Lita and Zod, by the way, are meeting up, and they're talking about the future of Krypton and how she wants to go to Wexlor and take care of the rebels. That's what she needs to do in order to make this stop once and for all. Zod's like, no, not going to do it. And he says, and then he goes into how he taught her everything that she knows. And she says, I don't know who that person is because you won't let me become that person. That's someone who's in your past and in my future, and you haven't let me become that person, so I don't know who she is. And she still wants to go to Wexlor, of course, and confront the rebels. He's still, saying no. In the meantime, Jaina and Dex have disposed of the Sagittari bodies, and Jaina realizes that the Sagittari were looking for him, not for her at that point. She goes, what did you do? And he doesn't answer her. And instead, he tells you know what, do us a favor. He goes, I'm going to forget that you were here. You forget that I was here. And he walks out into the snow. And she walks back out there and tells him that she has a plan to save Lita and kill Zod. And Dex like, where have you been all this time, lady? He goes, Lita is Zod's right-hand man. There's no way in hell that she's turning around. You're going to save her at any point in time. And she says, no, I can save her. I really can. And yeah, he's like, okay, good luck. Just forget about me. In the meantime, Seg and Adam are looking for Lobo. They're sitting up on top of this ridge, and they're looking for Lobo. And at the same time, Seg says, well, by the way, this old building over here, this is where Brainiac was born on Kalu originally. And we need to go there in order to get him sucked out of my brain and trapped in the mainframe of the computer. Yes, tiny Lobo. They're looking for tiny Lobo. And he becomes even tinier, too, in a little bit here. And once he gets in, once they suck Brainiac into the computer, then Seg says they can Zeta beam out and go back to Krypton. So that's their plan. So Jax and Val, in the meantime, are planning to use the new toys that they've got to defeat the Sagittari that are coming in, the new wave that are coming in. And if they can defeat this group, then they have a chance of actually turning the tide of the rebellion, for the rebellion here. Excuse me. And Val goes over to talk to Nyssa, and Nyssa's under guard still. And he gives her a pep talk about how she is not her father, that, he recognizes that. And if Seg was here, he would say the same thing. And she tells him, how much like Seg he is. And he's like, well, I'm older than him. So Seg is like me, really. And she's buttering him up essentially. And she goes, it'd be a lot better. Things would be a lot better if I didn't have a guard on me. And he's like, yeah, we don't need a guard anymore. Where are you going to go anyway? And so he dismisses the guard. Damn, Val. I mean, come on. Excuse me. Seg, in the meantime, leads Adam to the cave and says, this is where we need to go into because this is where Brainiac was born. And Adam's like, down there in the dark? He's like, yeah, down there. And he goes in and Adam follows him. And there's a chair sitting there with these tendrils sitting up above. And Seg's trying to figure out how to work this thing. And it's not, it doesn't really know what to do. And we hear Lobo outside, basically calling them the Krypton boys. Where are you, Krypton boys? I could smell you. I'm going to come for you. And all of a sudden, Seg blacks out again, standing up. And Adam's like, really? You decide to pick it now? And he goes back into his head, and Brainiac starts fucking with him again and says, you know what do you want? Who is it that you miss? And he changes into all these different people. He changes into Nyssa. He changes into, I'm blanking on his name, the guy from the bar. And finally he settles on Lita, and he's like, wait a minute, this one here. And before this, Seg had told him that Brainiac doesn't know anything about emotions. And Brainiac's like, yeah, sure, I know things about emotions. And he goes, I know how to use them, essentially. They're pointless, is what he says, except when you want to get something from somebody. And that's when he turns into Lita and to tempt Seg. In the meantime, Zod decides to send Lita to Wexthor to defeat the rebels. And he says he was reluctant to send her because he didn't want to see her die again. And she goes, okay, well, how the hell did I die the first time, in your future and or your past? And he says, well, when Kandor was taken, you came back broken and you stopped taking risks, you stopped living, and you basically died inside. And that's how you died. And she goes, oh, well, that's kind of horrible. Well, I hope that doesn't happen again, but I could see how that could crush me. Thank you, son. And then she goes off. She literally says, thank you, son. It's some really horrible writing and a little bit of horrible acting too. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. Adam, in the meantime, excuse me, drops a catatonic Seg into the chair and nothing's working. So he starts kicking the chair to get it to work. Lobo's outside at this point, just saying that he's coming in. The chair tendrils come down and plug into the back of Seg's neck. And just as that happens, Lobo comes down and he's like, there's the Krypton boys. And he lunges for Adam and his arm comes off. It basically literally shears off. There's a force field that's up. And he's like, Then he starts laughing. And he's like, not a big deal. And he goes, I'm still going to get in there. And Adam's like, no, you're not. And he goes, yeah, take a look over there. And he sees Lobo's arm inside, of course, the force field at this point. And it comes to life and it flips him off. And it's like, oh, man. So, yeah, basically he's going to come in a piece at a time, I guess is what this is. Just stand on his toes. Exactly. Yeah, God. So he threatens Adam. He threatens him that he's going to come in and just kill him. And he pulls out his gun, shoots the force field, and blows off his own head. Looks seemingly by accident, but it's not. Nyssa, in the meantime, meets an old flame of hers and who was working for her father. And it was one of the female guards for her father. And she's up on Wexthor. She is, I believe, Zod's contact. They didn't really make it clear all that much. And they go off to go and have a rendezvous out in the mines there. Brainiac, in the meantime, as Lita is trying to tempt Seg, and it's working. And Adam finds out what's going on. He's trying to find out what the hell's going on with Seg. He's outside going, dude, you got to wake up now. We need to go. What the hell's going on? And all of a sudden he hears Lobo's voice going, I don't think he can hear you. And he turns and looks, goes, what the hell? And he sees Lobo's head has attached to the arm that's on the floor. And Lobo says, I told you I was going to get in here one way or another. And he's starting to regenerate. He's regenerating an entire body from just his head and his arm. And it's inside the force field at this point. And Tiny Lobo has become even tinier at this point because he is now just a head and shoulders. Yeah, I know. Tiny Lobo needs to get to a gym. Is all he needs to do. He needs to work out a little bit, Joshua. Yeah. Where's the logic in a severed forearm regrowing an entire body instead of a headless body just regrowing a head? Yeah, that was the other thing I was kind of wondering too, Pen Farm Girl, was his body going to regrow an arm and a head? Because this is actually, I mean, that does gel with the original Lobo from the comics. Again, his power where he can regenerate different versions of himself using his blood. So yeah, this episode Lobo didn't piss me off as much. Tiny Lobo did not piss me off as much as he did. In the meantime, Nyssa and her gal pal are laying in in bed, and they're both out supposedly when Nyssa wakes up and surreptitiously copies this woman's. She has like a little wrist computer, and that has some plans on it. So she copies them, and she's looking over the plans of whatever they are, and she looks horrified by whatever it is she sees. And Lobo, in the meantime, has regenerated the top half of his body, and he knocks down Adam using his chain and runs over to him using his hands, propping up his body, and runs over to him. And Adam's like, holy shit, man, what the hell? And he's on top of him basically at this point. Seg, in the meantime, is with Lita, Brainiac, if you will, inside his head, and saying that there's no time for us. There's no time for us. And Brainiac says, there's all the time in the world. We have all the eternity. And Seg turns around and goes, no, there's no time for you. We're done, essentially, here. I've trapped you, is what's going on. And this is what emotions are. You pride logic above all else. And that knowledge is the key to control, is what you said, but it's not. There are other things. And he basically traps Brainiac into the computer, wakes up just in time to see Lobo, or half a Lobo, on top of Adam squeezing his head, and Adam saying, why are you so mean? And he knocks Lobo off of him and grabs a hold of Adam, and he's like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here now. And just then Brainiac's body regenerates onto the chair. The tendrils actually regrow his body. And he goes, now we need to get the hell out of here now. And Lobo starts running running towards them on his hands again. And Adam hits the Zeta beam and says, bye, bitches. And, they're flipping him off, and they take off. And Lobo, in the meantime, is left with Brainiac. And he goes, well, what do you know? The Craptown boys were right. They led me straight to the fragger, the bastage. And the last thing we see of him is we hear a like that, and we see blood splash on Brainiac's face as his eyes pop open. So, yeah, we don't know if he killed Brainiac really, or if, Brainiac's still inside the computer and can regenerate again. More than likely, that's going to be the case. So in the meantime, Jaina has come across Dev passed out in the snow. She brings him back to his place, puts him to bed, and looks over him. Val and Jax's troops are on the move, and they're getting ready to make basically an ambush in a choke point, which of course sounds like it's going to be their last stand for everything that's going on. Dev, in the meantime, wakes up to see Jaina laying next to him and smiling, and he starts crying and he hugs her. We don't know what this is all about, but hey, there we go. And Seg and Adam pop out of the Zeta beam onto Krypton, out in the Outlands, just outside of Kandor, where they can see Kandor in the distance. And Seg is actually dead when he arrives, and he actually has to restart Seg's heart. And Seg is freaking out when he comes back. He goes, wait a minute, was I dead? He goes, something feels different. Was I dead? And he goes, don't worry about it. He goes, you're back now. And he goes, we just need to start. He goes, we need to get going. We need to start and free Krypton from a dictator at this point. That's what we do. That's what heroes do. We do this every day. Yeah. And what if Brainiac gets into Lobo? That is a good question, Joshua. I thought about that as well. I also thought about Corvex. Is that Corvex may end up being Brainiac's host that we end up seeing, of course, during the Superman days. And that'd be kind of a messed up thing, is that Corvex is a descendant of the L's. His body is anyway, and that he's been taken over by Brainiac. But it would also make sense the way everything's been playing out here. So all in all, not a bad episode. And again, I like going through the recap of this. Talking about it, getting it out there lets me think about it a bit more too as I do this. And it's also a lot of fun for me anyway. Excuse me. It wasn't bad. And like I said, Lobo didn't piss me off as much as he did in the previous 2 episodes. Thank you, Warren. Then he'd be Tiny Brainiac. He would be Tiny Brainiac at that point if he got into Lobo. Tiny Lobo inside of, or Tiny Brainiac inside Tiny Lobo, or Lobo inside, or Brainiac inside Tiny Lobo. There we go. Who would Jor-El's mother be? Well, it's supposed to be Laurel, or Laura, is what her name is. Thanks, Joe. That's who. No, excuse me. Jor-El's mother. Take that back. Jor-El's mother is. I used to know this too. God, I can't remember. They have it in the. There's actually a comic out there, The Last Days of Krypton, which is really good. I can't remember who did it. DC did that back in the 90s, I want to believe, and they have all of that. They actually go back to Jor-El's parents and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm still not wanting a Lobo show either. Unless he really, really works out. And I'm glad he lost some of the accent, at least. At first, he was trying to do some weird ass accent in the first episode and the second episode. And I think he's kind of lost it now. And now he's just kind of playing a humorous voice, which I'm okay with. The accent was just fucking weird. Will Lobo have a ladder or stilts in the movie in his TV show that he's got? I don't know. That's a good question. He might have lifts. That's what he might have. Thanks, Joshua. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm trying to, I try and hit all kinds of different stuff that interests me as well. So that's the reason why you're seeing all these different TV shows that I'm covering at the moment, and different things as well. Martha, that's what his name. Yeah, his Jor-El's mother's name is Martha. Nimda, thank you, Pen Farm Girl. Nimda is Jor-El's mother's name. No space dolphins for Lobo. That's kind of sucky, though. I mean, you need the space dolphins. That's one of the things that was kind of cool about Lobo was the space dolphins, man. I mean, and the bike. He doesn't have we didn't see the motorcycle, the space bike in this one either. He just kind of appears on the planet because, of course, it's not in the budget to do a space motorcycle. Yeah, not on NBC's budget, that's for damn sure. And definitely not on SyFy's budget. SyFy does not spring for that kind of shit. You don't want to have another Swamp Thing incident where, you spend $85 million and then they're like, oops, sorry, you're canceled. You spent too much money. They said it on Sci-Fi Wire. Oh, that they said on Sci-Fi Wire there's no space dolphins. That sucks. Then why bother? I mean, if you're not going to do Lobo right, then don't do it. Yeah, just cancel more shows. Exactly. I swear they've canceled so many shows. I'm going to be talking a lot about this on Saturday as well. There's a lot of stuff that's happening for Comic-Con. Comic-Con's a weird mess at the moment. It's a hot mess, quite honestly. But I've got my ticket for The Boys on the 19th. They are showing it at Comic-Con. It is from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So I know that the first episode is not more than an hour long. So that means that they're actually going to do a panel right afterwards, which is fucking awesome. That means everyone's going to be there. and I've got my ticket. Yes, the boys at Comic-Con. They're showing the first episode, and it's a ticket only event. Yes, after dark. Yes, that's what they're doing. 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. I have the link up. If anyone's going to Comic-Con, take a look at the link up on my Facebook page. You can still sign up for it if there's tickets available. They're probably just doing it. Whoever shows up, they're probably, how they normally do it, where they oversell it, and you're gonna have to wait in line. But yeah, I would hope his motorcycle is going to be on the show, unless they're going to do something lame where he teleports. Yeah, because that could be really, really kind of fucked up. So where are we going with this at this point? I mean, I'm still under the belief that Lita was mind wiped and wanted a re-education, if you will. And I'm really thinking that Corvex is going to become Brainiac. He's going to become Brainiac's host. And that Nyssa, of course, is going to, with her newfound information that she just had, is more than likely going to warn Val, but not in time. And Jax is going to want to kill her, is what's going to happen. And Seg and Adam, of course, are going to fuck things up as they normally do, but still kind of somehow save the day. That's how they normally do things. And Zod's going to go back to the Phantom Zone like he normally does. Excuse me. So, yeah, I haven't been watching the Killjoy's Joker. I tried at one point, and it just didn't do anything for me. Joshua Marcasano says the only reason for Space Dolphins were to show a sympathetic side to him, but if they made him a merciful killer, it could work. Well, yeah, the Space Dolphins were supposed to be the thing that calms him down, the only thing that he enjoys in the universe. Everything else he hates. Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse is on Netflix, huh? It's been on. Was it on Amazon? No, maybe not. I had bought it when it came out, so I already have it, Slurmy. Yeah. And it's great. I mean, it's always awesome. It's very confusing. It had great potential. Killjoy. Yeah. Killjoys just didn't have any likable characters for me. It didn't do anything for me, and it just wasn't. And you would think it would be up my alley on this thing with bounty hunter, space, all that kind of stuff. Nope, didn't do anything for me at all, which is kind of weird. But so I'm wondering if they're going to go back to the whole thing about how the timeline is all fucked up now at this point as well. I wonder if they're going to even address that in this show, because they've really, really, really fucked up the timeline severely. So I don't know if they're going to reset or what's going to happen, because there's some major things that have been screwed up now. Yeah. Character adaptations are okay. They just have to be good. Exactly. You can change things on characters and still make them good. Yes, you can. I agree with you, Joshua. Nothing's coming to mind at the moment, but that's just because it's late and I'm, full day of work, all that kind of stuff. And this cape's a little hot because it is warm here. But with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. Just go down the comment section, like I said before, and tell me what it is you don't like. You can also hit the bell if you want to see when I'm going to be on live again next. If you already hit the bell, do not hit it again. It will unclick it for you. You can go into the bell settings and get as little or as many notifications as you want. Excuse me. My schedule is up on suspendedfanimation.com. It's also up on Facebook. I have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. The Instagram is going to be blowing up during Comic-Con. Definitely. And I have a Patreon as well. The Patreon does not have tiers set up at the moment, but I am working on that. I am working on a shirt that's probably going to go into that whole tier thing. It really isn't being easy being Superman. Yes, the cape does make you look hot. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Channel your inner superhero. Yeah, if I had freeze breath, I could. Yeah. There's going to be a really bad joke in that one. I was channeling movie Finobi there all of a sudden instead of my inner superhero. Tomorrow is going to be iZombie. Friday is the now canceled Swamp Thing. It's still good. People stick with it. It's actually good. Yeah, Swampy here. He wants you to, that's why he's got his arm raised. It's like, motherfuckers, watch my show. It's canceled, but watch it. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off. That's where I take the genre news of the week, talk about that and any other genre stuff that you guys want to talk about. It's a lot of fun. Come on in. It's my free form with, just some news items, things like that. That's always great stuff. It's a lot of fun. Mondays, of course, is the ever awesome Legion season 3. It's the final season for Legion as well. And of course, Wednesdays is what you're going through right now. Krypton. Yes. Hey, the sub number finally stopped going 249, 250, 249, 250, 240. I know, really. Pen Farm Girl. It was going back and forth. At one point, it went 249, 250, 248. And I was like, 248, what the hell? Yeah. Craptown. That's what that's what I should start calling it now, is Craptown. It's called Craptown. I'd watch the shit out of Craptown. That was actually kind of funny, that line. Sub to 300. I'll get my sisters to subscribe. All right, Joe Greer. Nice. Edna Mode. You're so right, Joe. Love her. Yeah. Edna Mode. No capes. Yeah, capes are okay if you are using them for certain things, like Batman. Batman uses a cape because he actually has the ends weighted and uses it as a weapon. He also uses it to glide. There's a reason that he has a cape. Superman has no functional use for a goddamn cape, other than it was his blanket when he was a baby. That's all it was. So he literally flies around with a security blanket on him that entire time, which I find funny. No one else does. It's just me. But yeah, I mean, you don't see Wonder Woman with a cape. You don't see Aquaman with a cape. Well, although the cape underwater would be kind of messy. Yeah. Yeah, he does. He flies around with a security blanket all the time. He's Lilas. That's what they need to do, is they need to do a Peanuts version of the Justice League. I said peanuts, not penis. Peanuts. Oh wait, I just said I just said the other word. Yeah, you could tell it's getting late for me. Getting loopy. And for Pepper too. She's passed out on the couch. She's passed out on the pillow. Her little queen pillow that she's got over there. But so I hope everyone enjoyed everything. Thank you all for joining me in the chat here tonight. Joe Greer III, Joe, Slurmy Scott, Pen Farm Girl, Joshua Marcasano says, I wouldn't expect to see Superman until the very last episode of Krypton. As long as the timeline is fucked up, the show will go on. Yeah, this is true. What would Charlie Brown be? I could see Charlie Brown being Batman, because everything bad happens to him, and he has Ace the Bat Hound. See, it works itself out. Exactly. See, Joe got that one. Joe Greer got it. Charlie Brown has got to be Batman because he has Ace the Bat Hound. Yeah. And Lucy is Wonder Woman. Or be Peppermint Patty. Probably be Lucy. Yeah. All right, everyone. I'm going to let you go for the evening. Thank you for joining me. And thank you if you made it all the way to the end of the video here. I salute you. Yes, for making it all the way to the end. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Take a look at the video if you're still on the fence about things. Also, take a look at the Legion video. The Legion video is awesome, if I do say so myself. It was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun going over that one. And with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. Thank you, everybody, and good night. and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself having to sneak inside of a force field piece by piece by piece, but still your body that you left on the other side of the force field isn't regenerating any pieces for some strange reason. Anyway, good night, everybody. Thanks.